There's currently 5 NFL teams in training camp right now that are having a competition for their starting quarterback. I'm going to discuss all of that tonight and more as I draft some best ball teams. It's July 27th. All of the training camps have started. We've got news coming in that you need to know to beat your league mates in your drafts to win these large field tournaments. We're drafting best ball teams, and we're going to have some fun doing it. We've got all the training camp news. I've been reading articles. I've been catching up on the latest. I've been in the Twitter zone for fantasy football, Twitter, getting all of the downloads, getting all of the need to know tidbits that you need. And I'm going to tell you them all tonight as we draft some best ball teams. I just jumped into a best ball Mania 7 draft, and we're drafting out of the 8 spot. So let's get this thing started. If you're new to the channel, if you're watching this for the first time, make sure you're subscribed. I've got a goal to hit 2,000 subs by the end of the NFL season. So help me get there. Support the Fantasy Football Garage. I'm putting out weekly content, YouTube shorts, videos to help you with sit starts, rankings, all of the above, values at each position. And I'm also live streaming best ball drafts until the start of the NFL season, most nights of the week. So turn on that bell. You'll know when I'm going live. You can come jump in a draft with me. But we've already started this one in the 8th spot. We got a pick coming up right here. Go ahead, smash the like button, get in the chat, say what up, and let's get right into it. Thanks for being here. Hope you guys are having a great Monday night. Good start to the week. Man, there is so much training camp news right now. If you're not in the flow of information on what's going on in training camp, you're at a big disadvantage in these drafts. And let me tell you, I have made some big stands on player takes, on team takes for the season, and I'm going to let you guys know how I feel, and I'm not afraid to share because I feel like there's a real advantage right now to drafting with the most information we've had going into the season. There's still some things to figure out. There's a few puzzle pieces left, but honestly, I don't know if you've done the research or not. I have. I'm feeling pretty confident in where I'm at in my drafting right now. I've drafted over 250 best ball teams to this point during the summer. I'm actually getting close to 300 teams. This is getting close to my 50th best ball mania, and I'm back waiting. I'm trying to do about 100 best ball mania drafts in the month of August and early September. And then I'm going to be jumping into some eliminators as well. I start off this draft with Jonathan Taylor. Pretty normal start here. We have Gibbs, Bijan going at the 1-2, and then McCaffrey at the 6, JT at the 8, except for Derrick Henry goes to the 9 spot. So someone pulling Derrick Henry into the first round. I don't hate it, honestly. It's not the worst pick. Getting Henry and Achan's a kind of unique combo. I'm going to go ahead and take Omar Hampton here. He was pretty much you could say a bust in year 1 based on what happened with his injury, based on what happened with the few healthy games where he was active. He was okay. He really didn't help you. He really didn't hurt you too bad, but we would have liked to have seen the Chargers offense produce more fantasy points, their offensive line stay healthier. So in year 2, can Hampton take a big step forward after being a disappointment in year 1? I think he can be. I am betting that Omarion Hampton handles somewhere between 62 to 65% of the team's offensive snaps among the running backs. And for his percentage of his touches, I'm going to weight him even heavier. I think he handles close to 70% of all running back touches in that backfield. A true workhorse back. He only gets pulled off the field for guys like Kamani Vidal to come in as a little bit of a breathe. And maybe some Keaton Mitchell action. We'll see. I'm not very confident in Keaton Mitchell. So if you're drafting Keaton Mitchell right now, you're going to have to explain yourself to me. And you have to tell me how you can see him doing really anything this season besides just being a complete projection into a offense that we expect could improve with the new coaching of Mike McDaniel and the upside that comes with that kind of scheme and play calling. But for me, I've done the research, and so it's going to take a lot to convince me to get on the Keaton Mitchell train this year. I think he's one of the worst picks on the draft board, and it's not even close. So through the first 2 rounds of this draft, I start off with 2 running back picks. I go Jonathan Taylor, everyone's favorite workhorse running back until Daniel Jones got injured last season. Daniel Jones is looking good. The camp news is good, positive on the Achilles injury. We're 7 months removed from the injury from Daniel Jones. It's all systems go. So I'm investing heavily in Jonathan Taylor this season. I like all of the round 2 running backs. I like Chase Brown. I like Amari Hampton. I like HN. Ken Walker's fine. Genty, of course. Barkley. And Derrick Henry usually goes in the second round. He goes in the first round on this one. I think A.J. Brown's an interesting pick. It's kind of speculative. It's a little bit expensive. I put him in a tier closer to guys like Pickens and Collins. And so I'm not going to be overexposed to A.J. Brown. I've seen him go in the 14th overall, the 15th overall. Here he goes in the 19th overall. I think that's okay. It's a fair price. Give me Brock Bowers every day of the week and twice on Sunday over A.J. Brown. Coming back up to pick 32 in the 3rd round, this is where I pivot to wide receiver. Trey McBride's there, but I'm not really in a good position to take advantage of Trey McBride. I am going to lean T. Higgins here. I would take Trey McBride if I had more of a balanced build and I could afford to go the elite tight end there. But I think most of the time when I start with 2 running backs, I'm going to look for my first wide receiver in the 3rd round. It's just a bit risky to push it all the way until round 4 to get that first receiver. And so instead of betting on an elite tight end being what I need, I'm just going to go ahead and make a big bet on T. Higgins, the Bengals offense. They've got, a full season of Joe Burrow being healthy. We'll look for one of his peak outputs in the prime of his career. So let's see what we can get to come back to us in the 4th round. I'm not really in a great spot to land Colston Loveland. It'd be a little bit early at pick 41 to go for Colston Loveland. Pick 56, almost no chance that he's there. So let's see how we can play this one through. Got to catch up with my boys in the chat. What's up, everyone? We got Updog in here. Hello, good sir. How are we doing tonight? Thanks for being here, Updog. We got Jeff T in the chat, a.k.a. Money Ain't a Thing. Jeff T, how we feeling about Jackson Coyven coming off his first win in the PGA Tour at the 3M this week? I got to watch a little bit of that at my parents' house over the weekend, so it was very nice. We got Putt Daddy in the chat. What's up, Putt Daddy? How we doing, brother? Wow, Burden goes pick 40. Do I pull up Colston Loveland? No. Okay, it's probably Etienne Jr. for me. It could be Waddle, could be Jacobs, Mike Evans. How am I feeling tonight? I've got a lot of Etienne Jr. I kind of want to throw in some Waddle. Let's do Etienne Jr. Let's do Waddle. Either one. I was on the fence. I go Waddle there. I think Waddle and the Broncos could consolidate some of that target share that over the last few years has been split across a few players, guys like Marvin Mims, Troy Franklin, to a lesser extent, Pat Bryant last year. So it's the Waddle and the Courtland Sutton show going forward. I'm pretty convinced they can consolidate the offense around those 2 guys. We got Hartman in the chat, my main man. What's up, brother? Hartman was live with Adam earlier tonight from Nice and Blunt. Make sure you check out Hartman's channel and his content over there, Hartman Fantasy Football. He's throwing out the blue Lambo tonight. Hell yeah, brother. I'm going to be throwing out, let's do some white Lambos in the chat. Throw them if you got them. What are you guys drafting tonight? I'm getting into a best ball mania. Let me go ahead and put the banner on. And I think I'm going to draft a couple tonight. We'll see how we're feeling. We'll see. So Colston Loveland does go first pick in the 4th round or 5th round. Makes sense to me. I think he's a really solid pick there. Who we got in this one? I don't really recognize any of the names we're drafting with either. So if you're drafting with me and you're in this room, let me know where you're at. I'm going to throw some white Lambos in the chat. Bang. Also, I'm doing a new YouTube poll right now. The poll for tonight, and don't forget to smash that like button. Poll for tonight is going to be better QB value. Stafford or Bo Nix? Because those are 2 guys that I'm drafting a good amount of. My most drafted QB to this point has been Jackson Dart. But I'm drafting a decent amount of Stafford, decent amount of Bo Nix. Let me know in the chat who you think's the better pick so far. We're back on the clock. Judkins, Tootin. I'm going to go Carnell Tate. Let's take some Carnell Tate here. Carnell Tate, the only wide receiver in his draft class that's truly 20 years old. He had a decent target share at Ohio State over the last 3 years. Not an incredible target share, but some of the highest level of teammate competition of any wide receiver entering the NFL. He's playing with Jeremiah Smith at Ohio State, and previously had played with guys like Emeka Egbuka. You ever heard of him? So Carnell Tate, what he lacks in target share coming into the league based on his college production, he makes up for it with his catch rate. One of the best catch rates in this 2026 wide receiver class. He's going to dominate. He is going to be the guy in Tennessee. I think he can easily be earning 5 receptions per game on average once he gets up to speed. And I don't think it's going to take long for him to get up to speed. He is the first wide receiver off of the board. You know, he's a first-round pick. He goes to the Titans at the 4th overall. He's going ADP 56. I think it's an easy bet to make. I'm back on the clock here. So I skipped on Judkins and Tootin. Coming back around, here I could do some Brian Thomas, Jadarian Price, Mekhi Lemon. If I wanted to take Burrow, it's my chance. Same thing with Drake May. I'm kind of leaning Brian Thomas here. Let's go Brian Thomas. Hope that he can bounce back a little bit after a down year. Get back into some of that form. We saw him when he was a rookie and had one of the best rookie seasons we've ever seen put together in the entire league. So Brian Thomas on a Liam Cohen offense. I want a piece of that. I'm interested. Gets me my 4th wide receiver after starting with the double RB anchor. So through 6 rounds, I went Jonathan Taylor, Omarion Hampton, 2 running backs that are offenses pretty much centered around the run game. T. Higgins, Jalen Waddle, Carnell Tate, and Brian Thomas Jr. Feeling good with this start. This is a Best Ball Mania draft, my first draft of the day. Just getting back from a long weekend, touching some grass, hanging out on the lake, some quality family time. And today, after I got my work done, I pretty much scoured the internet for training camp news, athletic articles, fantasy football Twitter, anything I could get my hands on, whether it was newsletters, Substacks, all of the above. And I got to all the information I needed to get to feel like I really have a good finger on the pulse of what's going on right now in the training camp. So if you got any training camp news you want to share, go ahead and throw it in the chat. Let me know what's going on. But I teased it coming into the stream tonight. There are 5 teams with training camp battles for QB1 right now. And a lot of these are going to be values in our drafts. A lot of these could just be so-so QBs. Some start, some get benched. Who knows? I think the sooner you can figure out who these starting QBs, though, are, you can make some incredibly good value plays in the last rounds of these drafts. So 5 teams. You probably know most of them, but there's maybe 2 you are thinking the battle's over. You're thinking it's not much of a competition, but it really is based on what we're hearing. So there's a lot in flux this year. We have 10 new head coaches across the league on new teams, and there's a lot going on. So if you're not on top of this training camp news, you're in the right place because I'll catch you up. I'll let you know what's going on, which picks we're making, which picks we're avoiding. Also, if you're in the chat, let me know what you heard today in this first official week of training camp. We got every team in training camp right now, and there's a lot of news coming out. Back on the clock, I'm not going to take Prescott or Herbert here. I could do Herbert. I would push him. Not so interested in Jaden Reed. I think Josh Downs is an interesting pick. But what's available? Maybe I do lean Herbert here. I could do it. Yeah, I'm going to go Herbert because I need QB here more than anything else. And I don't like the receivers that are available. I can push them around to pick 89. Not a lot of high conviction. Same thing with the running backs. I'm going to see who's available at pick 89 for my RB3. Could make some sense. I go early there. I take Justin Herbert in the 7th round. It's pretty early for me to take a quarterback. At least he's team stacked with Omarion Hampton. So I'm making a big bet on the Los Angeles Chargers. Their offensive line getting better. The coaching getting better. Play calling getting better. All of the above. We'll see. He comes back around at pick 89. I'm probably going to lean running back. I thought about taking Josh Downs there. We see Alec Pierce. What are the training camp news highlights about the Colts? Alec Pierce starting training camp on the PUP. Does he start the NFL season on the PUP? We don't know yet. Not sure. Maybe he does. Maybe he doesn't. Do I think there is some target share on the Colts to be gained by Josh Downs with Michael Pittman Jr. leaving? Yes. I think a lot of that's going to go to Tyler Warren, and a lot of it could also go to guys like Jonathan Taylor. But it would be nice to team stack. Josh Downs is still there. So I push him. He comes back around. Wide receiver 5, Josh Downs. Come on down. Unless, no, I'm not going to go Laporta. I could consider Harvey here for a team stack to go with my Broncos bet. I have Waddle. I'm going to go Josh Downs. And now I'm feeling really good at wide receiver. I could be done for quite a bit and maybe tackle tight end and QB with my next few picks. I can make a big bet on the Colts. I mean, I already have, but I can get Daniel Jones later. I passed on Harvey there. I think there's a lot of good upside. I would have had a team stack going with Waddle for Denver on the Broncos, but let me go ahead and take Josh Downs. Like I was considering taking ahead of Herbert. Instead, I take Herbert first, push Josh Downs to my next pick in the 8th round. Feels good. And actually, I see Jackson Dart going 85th off the board. He's my most drafted QB so far this season, especially in Best Ball Mania. And I'll take him anywhere and pick in round 9, around pick 100. Jackson Dart, come on down. But I get Josh Downs with my last pick, and I'm feeling pretty good. A 1-2-5 build. Definitely went heavy wide receiver after starting with my 2 workhorse running backs. I think it's a fun way to play it, though. Can I get some running back values in these middle rounds, too? I've got a lot of camp news in my head right now that I've digested. I kind of have a good idea of what running backs might be winning the RB battle for the 1A on their teams. Also, which guys are winning the backup roles and which guys are going to be relegated to 3rd or 4th string on their teams and be completely irrelevant for fantasy football. Let me catch you back up with the chat. Hope you guys are having a great Monday, great start to the week. Thanks for being here, everyone. Make sure you smash the like button. Make sure you're subscribed, all that good stuff. Mac Nova says, what makes me the candy man? Well, Mac Nova, it's a long story, but I'm happy to get into it. I think we're going to have to make this pick before I get into the full story. But, I mean, it's not really that hard to describe. I'm kind of a legend to all that know me. So when you're kind of notorious, when you're kind of a legend, people start to give you great nicknames. I'll go Harold Fannin here. Harold Fannin, almost certainly. Running backs will push it, see if like a guy like Rashad White comes back around. Pitts would be fine. I'm going Harold Fannin. The dude is just the greatest tight end rookie season from a target share perspective we've ever seen. I don't care that he's on the Browns. I'm making a big bet on the Colts. So Browns week 17, let's go. Also, great timing for a tight end. You hate to see it. Bo Nix goes. I was kind of anticipating Bo Nix being potentially taken. Maybe comes back around at pick 113. Would have been nice for a Jalen Waddle stack, but I got Herbert, so I'm feeling fine. Kind of made that bet earlier with Herbert. Didn't have to get Nix here. So yeah, to finish that story, the MacNova, the name is Chris Candelari. And when you're a Candelari, everyone your whole life, whether it's high school sports, college, friends, they're going to call you Candy. They're going to call you the Candy Man. And it's not just me. I come from a long lineage of Candy Man, right? My grandfather was Candy. My brother was Candy and Candyman. My dad was Candy. You know, we've all been called Candyman by our friend groups over the years. That's just kind of how it goes. And so it just sticks. Okay, Purdy here would be nice. A really big ADP discount on Purdy. I'm not going to pass that up, actually. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scoop the ADP value on Purdy. I'd love to get Rashad White on this team, but we're going to make it happen with Brock Purdy. A big discount there. That's almost 20 picks past ADP. So I don't care that I don't have him stacked so far. It's an incredible discount on a great QB, the guy you needed to have last year in Best Ball Mania. Training camp news is very pedestrian compared to what you'll see over the next 3 weeks. I disagree, Jeff T. I thought training camp news was pretty big today, actually. A lot of things I was reading were very interesting, very big news. Not only the QB battles, the running back battles, the state of these rookies, who's healthy, who's not. I think we're learning a lot. Yeah, I will back weight towards August and September as well. My weakest drafts tend to come from July, historically. Go figure. And some from May, but that's just kind of the risk reward of it. The best time to draft best ball teams is whenever you have time to draft best ball teams. Because you're not going to be able to get all 150 teams in the last day of the summer before the season starts. It's just not possible. Jose Cruz says, what is your expected amount to profit on Best Ball Mania with that many drafts? My expected amount to profit is 0. I'm expecting 0 profit. If you're playing Best Ball Mania, you should not expect to make any money. You should expect to lose every single dollar you enter. And if you go in with that mindset, you have nothing but upside. So in seasons when I've done good in best ball and NFL or PGA best ball, like this year for PGA, it's all fun. It's all upside. It funds the next year. You pay it forward. You keep drafting. For me, drafting best ball teams is a hobby. It's how I like to spend my time. There's a chance that I can win money. To me, honestly, and it might sound crazy, but the amount of money that I'm putting into best ball doesn't even compare to the amount of time that I'm putting in. My time is way more valuable than all the money that I'm putting in. I'm putting in a few $1,000s, right? It's a big hobby for me. It's something that I'm passionate about. I play high stakes, and I like to play in my home leagues, I like to play everything. It makes me better across all of these different avenues, doing so many best ball drafts. I don't like C-Rod. I might just do Shakir here. It's kind of a bad spot to be in. I don't like C-Rod. I'm not going that way. I need running back, but I'm going to end up going Shakir there, which I kind of hate, but it's going to work out just fine. So long story short, I value my time way more than I value the money that I put in. So for me, it's how do I want to spend my time? I'm not out here doing big dogs or mastiffs. Best Ball Mania is an expensive entry. It's $25 per entry. I've maxed it the last 2 years. I half maxed it 3 years ago. It's not chump change. But my total expectation is to come out of this losing money. If I make money, great. But it's all about the journey, the fun of doing it. You got to enjoy it. And that's what I'm here for. Also, it helps me feel like I'm staying in the flow of information, staying sharp. And it's all about keeping your mind sharp. So I like the game theory of it. I like the roster construction component. I like all the news and information. I like being an expert in the space as much as I can be to pretty much anyone else who's on the outside. They're just like, what the hell? I mean, when you tell people you drafted 1,000 fantasy football teams in 2025, their first response is to laugh. They just don't think it's even possible. Well, I go Travis Hunter here. I'm just going to keep going down the line, taking wide receivers if that's what the best pick on the board is going to be for me. I want to go back to running back, but it's just not making sense with the guys available. I really don't like them, and I'm not going to like them because I hate all these running back picks. But I have 7 wide receivers through 12 rounds. We'll recap this team. 2-2-7-1 build so far through my first 12 picks. I have JT and Omari and Hampton, my only 2 running back picks on the whole team through 12 rounds. With a circle back to running back pretty quick, take some upside swings. T. Higgins, Jalen Waddle, Carnell Tate, Brian Thomas Jr., Justin Herbert, team stacked with Hampton. Josh Downs, team stacked with Jonathan Taylor. I got Harold Fannin for the Week 17 bring back on those guys. My first tight end. Brock Purdy fell, what was it, 15 picks to me, 17 picks to me. So I'll take Brock Purdy there. Shakir for some more wide receiver floor. Travis Hunter for some more wide receiver ceiling. Travis Hunter played, what was it, last year? Like 7 games? I forget how many games he played, but if you look at his spike weeks, he was essentially just as effective as a guy like DJ Moore, who played the entire season. So Travis Hunter, you think he's just a cornerback? I actually love this price on Travis Hunter, and I'm not afraid at all. I like Diggs too. I take a bunch of Diggs. But give me Travis Hunter over a guy like Jalen frickin' Naylor every single day of the week. Not even close. Come on. Think about it. If you're taking Jalen Naylor over Travis Hunter, think about what you're doing. Stop a second. Realize, look forward, look backwards, and then make the right choice. Play for upside, play for keeps. Yeah, if you can get him in, Jeff, if you can get in the volume the last days before it closes, I don't hate it. It's hard to do, though. All right, coming back up, I like Cam Ward because I've got the pick with Carnell Tate. If Cam Ward's there, I'll do it. It's past ADP, and it makes sense to me. So I'll do that. I don't mind the Boston pick. I just don't need another wide receiver at this point. So I'm looking for tight end. I'm looking for running backs. I'm going to push Woody Marks. I'm going to take Cam Ward. I might get my third QB there. I essentially have three QBs that are semi-mobile, but not like they're not true rushing upside QBs. So I'm looking for some huge MVP type seasons from these quarterbacks for them to keep up in fantasy as a pocket passer. So that's why I'm kind of taking three QBs early here. I don't have the Konami code. I don't have the rushing upside. I didn't get Daniel Jones. I could have taken him at pick 137. If he was there at pick 152, I would go Daniel Jones over Cam Ward. But he was gone. I'm not crazy about Woody Marks, so the fact that Woody Marks is off the board doesn't bother me at all, really. I do need a running back sooner than later because my third running back in round 14 is pretty late. It's about as late as I can swing it. Have you done any big dogs yet? No. I've never done a big dog. I won't do any big dogs unless somebody wants to fund the big dog and let me draft it and give them half a stake in it or something. Then there's no way I'm doing a big dog. Just not in the cards. I'd rather spread the risk over a bunch of teams than have be that invested in just one team. What can I do at tight end later? I feel pretty good about Fannin. Juwan Johnson's a stud, though. Tajay Spears is fine, but he could get unseated by Nick Singleton. He's not that great of a pick. I'm going to go Juwan Johnson here. Give my second tight end. I've only got two running backs. This is the latest I pushed a running back 3 in any Best Ball Mania draft I've done all season long. But I feel good about it. I'm making a huge bet on Hampton, a huge bet on Jonathan Taylor, and if they're not the guys you need, then this team doesn't win. But the rest of this team is sick. It's got an insanely good floor at tight end, QB, and wide receiver. So if Jonathan Taylor is the guy we know he is, if Amari and Hampton takes a step forward and goes from a disappointing rookie season to being a total stud and one of the best offenses in the league with a healthy offensive line, and Justin Herbert pushing for the MVP of the NFL this year, I think we got some legs on this team. I've got two of the Jacksonville Jaguars wide receivers, both former first-round picks. Can't argue with that. So I'm feeling pretty good. We'll throw in some late running back values. I mean, I got some ideas. I've got some guys that we can make work. I've been sifting through the camp data, what's going on in training camp, all the buzz. So I feel pretty good I can make it work at late RB with this kind of build. Jackson Coyven, great dynasty pick. Terrible albatross pick. Yeah, word. Max says, Coyven was a super fancy zero in albatross, unfortunately, but he's a stud. 100% agree. The guy's got a great swing, great future ahead of him. Ice cold blood in the veins. He's a winner on the PGA Tour. You love to see it. Pushing my BBMs and eliminators to mid-August, just waiting for Underdog to drop some new contests. Hell yeah, Pud Daddy. I feel that. Hampton is stud. Hampton could be top 5 this year. What's up, Chris? BCB, New York Jets fan. How are we doing, brother? Always good to see you. Appreciate the kind words. Thanks for being here, dog. Hope you're doing well. Jeff says, one last Jackson Coyven item. His win this week guarantees him entry into the first and second majors next year. Could be a good albatross pick next year, though. I like that. That's sharp. Yeah, that's very sharp. I think he will be a good pick. I think he is a guy that can contend in these majors potentially. We might not see it right off the bat, but would it surprise me if he flirted with a top 10 in a major next season? I don't think so. He just beat Scotty Scheffler on the main stage. So pretty impressive stuff. Yeah, what's up, Creoth? Love the new Abby. Got some Grateful Dead going on. Both starting Carolina Panthers OTs are injured with murky return timetables. Not good for the Panthers. Damn, that's crazy. That's good information. Good need to know from our training camp news today. So from Creoth, we got Nick in the chat. GM, brother, what's up? I'm back on the clock here. Dylan Sampson is a total bust year one. Even when, I mean, the 33 receptions was okay, but even when Quinshon Judkins was out and injured, he did completely nothing. So give me an upside shot on a guy like Jonah Coleman, I think here is the way I'm leaning. Gunnar Helm's not the worst pick. I don't really need the tight end right now, though. So the way I'm feeling about it, I am going to take a shot on Jonah Coleman as my RB3 on this one. Let's see what happens. I passed on Woody Marks to take Josh Downs. I've got a slight team bet already with my Jalen Waddle. So I get Jonah Coleman pick 176. I mean, it's can't get much cheaper than that. Sign me up. If Samson comes back around to pick 185, maybe I'll be interested. But honestly, not that interested. I do have somewhat of a team bet going with the Cleveland Browns. You know, I took Fannin earlier on. Got the whole Indy thing set up. We see a Keon Coleman go pick 177. You don't see that every day. I'm drafting Keon Coleman in round 18. I'm not afraid of him. Round 15 is interesting. Zachariah Branch goes off the board. Antonio Williams. Some rookie wide receiver picks. Wow. Jeff T dropping the knowledge. Where no major champion is under the age of 30. Interesting. Could be. Going to Austin. Nick, I live in Austin, so I will be there. I'm there right now. Nick, if you're coming to the ship chasing meetup, I'll see you this Friday, brother. We'll be going out Friday night. I'll meet up with everyone Saturday for the drafts. I'm back on the clock. And then Sunday, we're going out to Lake Travis, which is the lake that I am born and raised on, essentially. So I will be there. I'm going to push Kaytron. Let's go Gunnar Helm here. Get the tight end 3, finish the stack. I guess I could have waited for... No, that's the one I wanted. I'll see if Kaytron comes back around, but I do need to grab 2 more running backs to even this thing out. Kaytron could be one of them. I don't have a lot of faith in Lloyd. Singleton could be one of them. Justice Hill's fine. He hasn't been unseated yet by a guy like James Randall. But he could be. Adam Randall. I know a guy named James Randall. I always say James Randall. Adam Randall. I've actually drafted an Adam Randall in Best Ball Mania. It was my second Best Ball Mania draft this season with Danny from the Fantasy Stock Exchange. And we were drafting together on the channel, and we drafted a Adam Randall in I think it's the last round of my second Best Ball Mania draft this season, way back in May. Pretty crazy times. But yeah, Nick, if you're going to be there, I'll see you this weekend. I'm going to drive downtown. I'll meet y'all there Friday night. We'll get some drinks, have some fun. We'll draft on Saturday, and Sunday we're hitting the lake. So it's going to be a nice time. Yeah, Fannon's definitely a baller. What's up, Process Wins? How we doing, brother? Last name explains it, and that's a great nickname. Appreciate you. Yeah. It's not even a name that like I tell people to call me, except I do here on my YouTube channel because you got to get to know me a little bit. Got to give you some personal information. Got to connect on a level. But yeah, my friends, my college roommates, teammates over the years, they call me Candy. Candy Man. My brother's the exact same way. All of his friends call him Candy Man. It's just easy. 44 says Bats 44-0. I forget what that was in context to, but I'm sure it was something I was asking a number for. Definitely should be thinking about a multi-year bankroll and deploying capital into best ball. Yeah, I mean, I'm in year 5 of drafting best ball, so I'm in a 5-year, multi-year bankroll capital management situation. I'm still plus money in best ball over the last 5 years. I've been kicking ass in PGA best ball. I'm not one of the most winningest ever, but I've finished top 5 in the Albatross. I've finished top 10 in the Big Scramble. I've had other nice wins. And so I'm way up in PGA best ball. I've been even to slight wins in NFL best ball. So I've got some room to catch up in the NFL best ball. Okay, we're definitely going to go Kaytron Allen here. Penn State's all-time leading rusher, if you didn't know. Double rookie upside. Could be fun. Could be great offenses to have a piece of. The last pick here, do I want to go with... I can't do Vidal on this team because I already have Hampton. A year 2 guy. Do I want to go with a rookie? Do I want to go with James Conner? To me, he's kind of interesting. How do I feel about Hill or P. Ryan or DeMarcado? Maybe not. Oh, maybe a Singleton team. I've got a Titans bet going on here. It could be a Singleton team. If not Singleton, maybe I go James Conner. I've got a pretty good bet on some Tennessee pieces. Singleton could be fun. I'm only really needing one of these rookies to hit. It's pretty crazy to take 3 rookie running backs. I mean, Jonah Coleman, Kaytron Allen, and Nick Singleton. If I'm not mistaken, all day 3 guys. Let's go look at the data. Let's go to our playoff, our rookie comparison. We'll go down here. We got Jonah Coleman was round 3 or 4, NFL draft pick 108. And then, yeah, Singleton 165, round 5 plus. Kaytron Allen was round 5. So some late picks. I don't really care about Mike Washington that much. Kalen Black, not really interested in that role. I'll do Singleton though. Marshawn Lloyd doesn't get it done for me. Braylon Allen, not so excited. He might be losing to Isaiah Davis, as we're hearing. Damon Claiborne, no. Nick Singleton, yes. Bang. Thought I'd never see it. 3 straight rookie running backs to top off this running back room. It's risky. I don't know if it's good enough to get there. If these 2 guys can hit, maybe we don't need much. The wide receiver should be in the flex most weeks. It's pretty risky. Got some nice tight end help. I don't hate this team. It's pretty fun. Brother, you're playing fast and loose with this running back room. Don't I know it? I mean, if you've ever seen me draft a running back room, I'm usually 4 running backs through 7, 8 rounds, usually 5 through 10 rounds. I push it here. But I've been reading the camp news. I know what's going on. Jonah Coleman, very interesting pick. Kaytron Allen, very interesting pick. Nick Singleton, very interesting pick here. So I'm feeling pretty good. Now we're getting more information. I'm taking some riskier picks. Got to do the whole risk reward thing. Been reading a bunch of articles lately. Pat Kerrane dropped a new article 2 days ago on Leg Up about the rookie running backs, their upside, how they compare historically over the last 5 years of all of the rookies based on draft capital, ADP, expected outcomes. Some of these guys could be playoff hammers. Some of these guys could be complete busts. But you got to swing big to hit big, right? Home run or strike out. Yeah, I stopped at Herbert and Purdy. I could have stopped in Herbert and Purdy, but getting Cam Ward past ADP here when I already had Carnell Tate felt pretty good. And then I just kept stacking on more Titans pieces with Helm later on and then the Nick Singleton. So I'll catch up with y'all. I'll review this team and we'll jump right back into their best ball mania. That only took 38 minutes to draft. So these drafts are going pretty quick. We'll definitely have time to get in some more drafts tonight. Thanks for being here, guys. If you're new to the channel, if you're watching this for the first time, make sure you're subscribed. I've got a goal to hit 2,000 subs before the start of, well, the NFL playoffs. We'll see. We'll see if we can get there. Doesn't cost you a thing, but I'd appreciate it. Support the channel, help me grow. But more than anything, come get in the chat, say what up, and let's draft some teams together. Let's talk some ball. Let me know what's going on. What did you hear today in training camp? I'm about to share with you guys the 5 teams who have QB battles right now and my personal take on which QBs are the ones you want for fantasy football. So we're going to get to that in just a few seconds. I'm going to catch up with the chat, review this team, and then we're going to talk some of this training camp buzz before we draft another Best Ball Mania. Also, follow me on X at FFB Garage. You can catch, know when I'm going live, all of that stuff. And it's great. It's good stuff. I'll interact with you there. If you follow me, I'll follow you back. And also, let's catch up with the chat. Koiven is going to go super early. I think so too. He might be too expensive next year. Maybe people will forget. He did win the 3M, so it's like kind of this lull where not everyone's paying attention, but we'll see. We got Aaron Sandy in here. What's up, brother? Draft any Badge Bros Brawls. BBG and I actually drafted 2 Badge Bros Brawls on stream Friday night. We stayed up. Jeez, it was so late. We stayed up so late. I did like 2 hours of streaming, and then BBG DMs me and says, "Hey, bring me on." So we did another 2.5 hours after that with BBG. So go check out my last stream. BBG joins about 2 hours in. I got timestamps in the description. We drafted 2 BBMs. We drafted 2 Badge Bros Brawls. A lot of fun. I like them. Sandy, are you drafting the Badge Bros Brawls? Are you enjoying those? I think they're really fun to draft. They go super fast. Yeah, the young guys, exactly. They go super high. Hell yeah, Nick. I'll see you Friday. Brother, DM me. We'll link up. We'll drinks on me. We'll have a good time. No lake for me, but excited for everything else. Okay. Yeah. Get what you can in. Enjoy the weekend. Looking forward to seeing you there, brother. And anyone else is going to be there. Mac Nova's going to be there. I think I forget who else, but I know. I mean, we've talked. A lot of guys in the chat have mentioned they're going to be there. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, I'm ready to risk it. I've got the information I need. I'm ready to make some risky picks. I've been waiting all season, all summer. I've been drafting a robust running back. I've been doing the safe picks, but I mean, you're hard pressed to find someone who did more article reading over the weekend, who's kept up today as much. I mean, I was on work calls all day long. Set that bitch on mute, and I'm reading The Athletic, and I'm catching up with my newsletters. I'm on Yahoo. I'm on the Fantasy Footballers. I'm on ESPN. Where else we read today? Everywhere. Twitter, Fantasy Football Twitter, newsletters, Substacks. I've read it all. So I'm ready to make some risky picks. Is Harvey cooked? You know what it could be? J.K. Dobbins. He's going to have the first and second down role. The third down role, maybe they start to pigeonhole Harvey into that a little bit, but Harvey's not the best pass catcher either. He's kind of a more one-for-one replacement to Dobbins the more I think about it. It might be Jonah Coleman coming in and showing, hey, he's a third down back, but he's got some good size, some good speed. He can do it all. Maybe Jonah Coleman being able to do it all good enough is better than having a guy like Dobbins or Harvey who really can't do it all that well, but can run pretty well if you're Dobbins. From Harvey, it was just more of a nose for the end zone. I mean, could Jonah Coleman be the back you want at the cheaper price late in the season when it matters? I'm not asking Jonah Coleman to get 15 touches a game. I'm not even asking him to touch the ball 5 times a game for the first 5-7 weeks. But in week 14, week 15, 16, 17, what if Jonah Coleman's playing 40% of the snaps? He's the third down back. Maybe he's the 2-minute back at the right before halftime and right at the end of the game. Maybe he's the guy who's in there who can work when they're playing in passing down situations. I mean, I don't actually think the Broncos are going to play from behind that often with the defense they have and the skilled offense they have, but maybe Jonah Coleman has a do-it-all skill set. So I think there's a path. I don't think it's the majority of the probability of what happens this year. I'm still drafting a good amount of Dobbins. I still like RJ Harvey, but maybe Jonah Coleman has a skill set that lends itself to winning over more snaps and holding down a role. So it's a good enough offense. I want a piece of it. Let me take a swing, take a risky late pick. And at pick 176, I don't have that much to lose. Might be one of the ugliest running back rooms as far as depth, but I see the vision. Yeah, I would agree. Let's review this team on that one. We've got a 3-5-7-3. We started 2 running backs, and we pushed it all the way to around like 15 before I took my next running back. And actually, I ended with 3 straight running backs. 3 in the last 4 rounds. But we go Justin Herbert, Brock Purdy, and Cam Ward. Herbert at least goes with Omarion Hampton on this team. While I don't have any Chargers pass catchers, it didn't work out that way, but I got the team stacked there with Hampton, so it feels good. Brock Purdy, completely unstacked, but it's totally fine. I got him almost 20 picks past ADP, so I got some upside there. Cam Ward, past ADP as well. I get him stacked up with Carnell Tate, who I took in the 5th round. And then I've also got Gunnar Helm and Nick Singleton to go with that. So a big 4-player bet on the Titans this year. Feels pretty good. Honestly, no overlapping bye weeks, all ADP values. I'd give this QB room a solid A-. And as far as construction goes, I'd give it an A+, because I just took what the board gave me, made it work. Running backs, JT, Omar Hampton, pause. Jonah Coleman, Kaytron Allen, Nick Singleton. Can I get zeros from these guys for the first 5, 6, 7 weeks? Hell yeah, I can. I've got Jonathan Taylor and Omar Hampton. Okay, if one of JT or Hampton gets hurt, no bueno, but maybe it can still work. I'm hoping they're both going to be healthy. There might be some resiliency if Kaytron Allen wins the big role on this team as the 1A or the 1B. Hell, Rachaad White just left the team that drafted him. He's not getting paid much. He's good at the goal line. He's a big back. He's a good pass catcher. He's not a good rusher. He might be a product of this Washington offense going forward with Jaden Daniels that makes any running back look good, a la last year's Chris Rodriguez, Bill Krosky-Merritt. The list goes on and on, right? So McNichols. At the end of the day, give me a shot on Washington's offense. Give me a shot at taking one of the running backs that matter for them. We weren't drafting Bill Krosky-Merritt until August last year. What if Kaytron Allen's the next him? Same, better draft capital, way better pedigree college athlete, probably a better rusher, honestly. If you can show me one way where Bill Krosky-Merritt is more impressive than Kaytron Allen, I'm all ears. I want to see it. So maybe Kaytron Allen just wins this role on a dynamic offense you want a piece of, the Washington Commanders, with a bounce back Jaden Daniels. Last time we saw Jaden Daniels fully healthy for a year, he was flirting with NFL MVP status. So that lends itself well to the offense, the ability to score touchdowns, all of that. Nick Singleton, hey, I'm just saying, I draft a good amount of Tajay Spears, but maybe he pushes Tajay Spears for that role. I don't think he can push Tony Pollard, but maybe they find something with Spears and Singleton. Maybe they deal Pollard mid-season. Who knows? The biggest threat to Tennessee is their offensive line sucks. But let's move on from that. Overall, running back room, I'd give it like a B-. It's very heavy up front with a lot of swings in the back. Let's go look at these running backs. So Jonah Coleman here, and I'll zoom in a little bit. We're doing some research. Jonah Coleman, pick 108 in NFL draft, ADP 156. I got him at pick 176 in this one. 4 round 3 and 4 running backs over the last 5 years. You have guys hitting like, I mean, the biggest upside would be like a Devon Achane. I'm not saying we're anywhere close to that with Kaytron, with Nick Singleton, with Jonah Coleman. But could we get a rookie year Ramondre Stevenson type of outcome? Could we get a rookie year Chuba Hubbard type of outcome? Or even Rachaad White? I don't think it's crazy. Let's scroll down to, and so there's a lot of hits. There's a couple big hits. You know, Bucky Irving. There's a few decent hits. Guys like Ramondre. There's a few guys that were okay. Tajay Spears, you could argue. A lot of misses in this range as well, but we got to take some swings. What about Kaytron Allen or Nick Singleton? They went in rounds 5+ of the NFL draft. Singleton going 209, Kaytron Allen going around pick 200. Could we get a rookie year a la Tyrone Tracy or Kyle Monungai, right? Or Bill Krosky-Merritt? Could we replicate Bill Krosky-Merritt's rookie season with Kaytron Allen this year? Hell yeah, we could. So all you need is a playoff hammer, a guy who can hit in week 17, getting that flex. That's the bet I'm making on with this running back room. So I'm not afraid. If you are confident in what you can draft and these players who are available, you can do some different things right now and take advantage of these ADPs a little bit. Wide receivers, T. Higgins. I didn't have a chance at Joe Burrow. Jalen Waddle, I passed on Bo Nix. I did get Carnell Tate as my wide receiver 3 with Cam Ward. I made the case during the draft of why I'm really in on Carnell Tate. Let's go back to the data. Let's go back to our rookie wide receivers, right? First off, we're going to scroll up. This is the college stats of all of these receivers. We got Carnell Tate. He's the youngest receiver in his draft class. He's only 20 years old. In his last year at Ohio State. He comes from the best program, the highest pedigree. He had the best teammates. Jeremiah Smith. Ever heard of him? He's a great catch rate. One of the best catch rates on a large sample size in the entire rookie class at wide receiver. His target share is not that great. 15, 16% target share, but it's what he did with it. He caught the ball 75+% of the time on his larger sample size seasons last 2 years. 9 touchdowns coming out of it. Carnell Tate's a smash. He's going to earn a lot more target share in the NFL when he's going up against guys like even Wan'Dale Robinson or Calvin Ridley. Calvin Ridley's getting it done with efficiency, not necessarily earning a ton of targets to get it done. Not a bad pick where he goes late, but we've got the young Carnell Tate who almost certainly is set up to smash in the NFL. So I'm in. Let's go down and comp what Carnell Tate looks like. He goes pick 4 overall in the NFL draft. Current ADP around pick 58. We'll say, upside. We could get a guy a season, maybe like a Jamar Chase. I wouldn't bet on it, but it's possible. Or Garrett Wilson. Complete smashes on the other end of the spectrum, but maybe even lower NFL draft capital and lower ADPs. We can get a Jalen Waddle type season, guys that can still smash. So worst case scenario, you end up getting a T-Mac type of season. It's not terrible, but it doesn't really help that much, right? And even Tate has higher draft capital than T-Mac or Drake London, similar situation. And actually, Drake London was going a lot cheaper back in 2022 when he was a rookie. ADP 73, 74. A guy who's going in the 50s, 60s who completely busted, Xavier Worthy. But at the same time, he was 28th overall in the NFL draft. What about JSN? Was a bust as a rookie. You could throw in Rome Odunze, a complete bust as a rookie. Actually, a terrible bust. Or maybe Marvin Harrison could be a good comp for how bad this could get. Both of them were selected 4 overall, both from Ohio State. Marvin Harrison, actually an extremely high pedigree prospect coming in the NFL. One of the best prospects we've seen. He was a complete bust his rookie season. He had some upside. He had some touchdown success. He had some spike weeks, but terrible advance rate, terrible during the playoffs. At least week 17 wasn't the worst, but no one had him in week 17 because no one made it that far. So Carnell Tate, is he the next Marvin Harrison? No, because Marvin Harrison was a 1-2 turn pick. We're getting Tate in the 5th, 6th round. So I feel really good about the price. I'm in on Carnell Tate. I'm drafting a bunch of these round 1 rookie wide receivers. I'm all in, pretty much all of them. I go Brian Thomas, Josh Downs, my second Colt on this team, Khalil Shakir was for some floor, Travis Hunter, and then I stopped with 7. So I got 7 wide receivers pretty early. I stopped there. Wasn't really focused on really doing much backstacking with my Herbert. Didn't really care. Didn't need it. I think it's fun to have Brian Thomas and Travis Hunter, 2 pieces of the Liam Cohen offense. It just could be what you need in a given week. Jacksonville Jaguars should be a nice offense to have a piece of. Harold Fannin, Juwan Johnson, Gunnar Helm. Seems very strong to me. So the wide receiver room, I'd give it a B+, maybe B+ seems fair based on the quality of the depth. And then some of the stacking around the Titans. The tight end room, I give it also a B+. Honestly, maybe an A-. It's cheap. It's not too expensive, but I've got guys like Fannin and Juwan Johnson that I think can be big target earners on their teams and have crucial roles. Yeah, maybe the Browns and the Saints and the Titans are not the teams you think of when you're thinking of successful fantasy pieces, but at the same time, they're pretty undervalued. So I'm in. I like this team. Risk, reward. I might never draft another Best Ball Mania team this entire season that has 3 rookie running backs on it or looks just like this. But this is the one that fits into my draft, my completed drafts, my portfolio, if you will, so far, that gets me some exposure to these outcomes. And I think structurally, this is a very fun team. So let me know your thoughts on this. Also, make sure you vote in the YouTube poll. I posted a poll Who do we like more? It's like Stafford or Bo Nix. And don't forget to smash the like button as well. We got 31 watching. We only got 17 likes in the stream, so please like the stream. Help support the channel. I'm jumping into another Best Ball Mania. If you want to get in with me, there's your chance. I'm going to be joining a Best Ball Mania from my phone in about 10 seconds. So if you're hearing me say this, I'm probably 5 seconds away from jumping in a Best Ball Mania on my phone. If you can see me, I'm queuing it up on my phone right now, right here. I'm jumping in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Waiting on 10 more. Maybe you got an underflow, but let's see. Let's see how fast this thing fills. If you guys are ready to draft, I mean, I got to it pretty quick. We did a lot of team review there. We did a lot of rookie talk. We did a lot of data. And we'll see. Maybe you guys jumped in the underflow. How fast can we fill a Best Ball Mania on a Monday night on July 27th? MacNova says, I was also a huge Clanton bull. Yeah, Luke Clanton. But he struggled mightily. I was a huge bull on Nick Dunlap. You know, the one of the youngest winners on the PGA Tour in a while and ever. He actually wins 2 times on the PGA Tour. And just not a guy you need in the Albatross or the Scramble for any of these years. So he's got the yips off the tee. Can Nick Dunlap straighten it back out and continue his career? He's got a long way to go. So I have some confidence there, but similarly to that. He could. Things happen fast in the running back world. We just don't know. I think RJ Harvey has good draft capital. I think he has a good nose for the end zone. He's not a good pure rusher. He doesn't have a lot of pass catching upside, so there's limitations to his profile for sure. I think Dobbins does probably score the most fantasy points, but how long can he stay healthy? And is he scoring more points in the beginning of the season versus the end of the season is a big question. Yeah, we don't want Kaytron to beat Audric Estime, that's for sure. I mean, there's so many outcomes where Kaytron could just be useless. At the same time, I think it's the right backfield with the right amount of opportunity and the lack of pure talent ahead of him where he could emerge. I think it's a pretty good bet right now. Yo, what's up, T-Bucks? How we doing, brother? Popping in to say, what's up, my guy? Don't forget to smash the like if you're watching. Hey, I appreciate that, dog. Appreciate you. Hartman says, I'm already in a BBM. You're safe. Oh, thank goodness. Because if Hartman was in my BBM, I'd be sweating. And speaking of Hartman and I are drafting some Best Ball Manias tomorrow night on his channel, Hartman Fantasy Football. I'm throwing the link in the chat right now because I already know you're subscribed. But I just want to remind you where we're going to be tomorrow. Hartman has been putting out incredible live draft content. He was live earlier tonight. He goes live, I mean, practically every day, you could say, as much as anyone. So make sure you're subscribed to Hartman Fantasy Football and catch me there tomorrow live. We're going to be drafting some Best Ball Manias, some whatever, maybe some Badge Bros Brawls. We'll be getting into it. Say that 10 times fast, 5 times fast. And yeah, Hartman's the man. He's our guy. So make sure you're subscribed over there. Make sure you come draft with us tomorrow. I'm going to close this YouTube poll. I'm closing the poll. We're going to start a new poll. I'm drafting out of the 11th spot here. Let's get this thing started. We're turning on the music. We're going to feel it a little bit, get the vibes going. In the 11th spot, we've got Bitcoin in the 10, Go Lancers in the 12. I don't really recognize any of these other names. If you're in here with me, let me know where you're at. Looks like you guys didn't make it in. No one's drafting tonight. You guys are holding off until August. Well, that's smart, but I don't hate the idea of it. I'm saving most of my bullets for August. I think the 11th spot, anytime you're drafting out of the 10 or the 11 spot, you got to be thinking, this is my chance to win this whole thing. My first 2 picks, even my third pick overall, a lot of value. A lot of value on this side of the board. So, take some swings. Try to build out a really strong roster. It's a little early for the elite tight ends. You know, most of the elite tight ends are going on the left side of the board right now. You could pull up Bowers, have some balls. McBride doesn't normally fall to 35. Loveland at 38 is pretty early. CeeDee Lamb, Genty, Cook, Barkley. Let's go CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb, and then Genty, Cook, or Barkley will come back to me. I'll take whoever's available. It's Barkley. I'm cool with it. CeeDee Lamb, Barkley start. Can't hate on that. But CeeDee Lamb, formerly a first overall pick in these tournaments. Saquon Barkley, formerly a first overall pick in these tournaments. Can't hate it. Hell yeah, Putt Daddy. Hartman and I are going to draft an FFPC Big Gorilla. And I bet you tomorrow night on stream, we'll talk about it more. We'll kind of decide our timing. We drafted one last year in June, which was fun. And actually, it got a lot of engagement because people were referring to our stream to watch throughout the rest of the FFPC season on like what draft boards look like and how to draft and what, you know, where things were going. But the disadvantage for us was we drafted a 0 RB team in the year where 0 RB got smacked. We were relying on guys to hit like Cam Scattaboo, who got injured. We invested in Jalen Hurts on a relative down year for him. We also drafted Rashee Rice before he got suspended. So, bada bing, bada boom. We had, you know, some missing pieces. We had some players underwhelm. We took Brock Bowers in the first round. He missed a lot of games. So, Hartman and I have thought, you know what? We should draft this FFPC team in August or closer to the season start. We'll have more information. We'll make some better decisions. We'll feel better about it. We'll have some more luck. So, we're coming back with a vengeance. Goomba says, and Barkley went pick 15. Look at that. Barkley at pick 15. I was talking about, it's kind of early to take him at pick 14, but he goes pick 15. Otherwise here, pretty normal start for everything else. Neighbors at 27. Neighbors has been a big riser considering he's not on training camp pup. When you're drafting wide receivers, do you consider their styles, i.e. mixing lower A-dot steady point getters with high A-dot spike guys, or not as much consideration for that? I do consider that, definitely. It's all part of the formula. Like last draft, I took guys like T. Higgins and Travis Hunter, and then I balanced them out with guys like Shakir and Josh Downs, right? So high A-dot, touchdown spike week guys, lower A-dot, PPR scam type of guys. I do definitely think about that. And if you show me a guy like Ruma Dunze and you're trying to impress me with the fact that he's supposed to be the guy you need, I mean, maybe, but come on. If Caleb Williams is supposed to improve his accuracy and Ben Johnson wants him hitting more first read targets and doing more design plays, you think they're designing plays for deep targets to Roma Dunze, a downfield threat with a deep A-dot who's always been a deep threat receiver? With the lowest catch rate of any wide receiver active in the NFL? You're telling me that's what they're doing? Or are you telling me they're going to scheme up some plays to Colston Loveland and Luther Burden, guys who are yak gods, who have high catch rates, lower A-dots? Think about it. Is Rome Odunze good? Sure. Is he great? No. A year from now, the Bears have to make a decision because he's going into his third year. A year from now, during the offseason, the Bears are going to say, do we give Rome Odunze an extension? Do we use his fifth-year option? Do we let him go and not take his fifth-year option? Do we trade him? That's what it's coming down to for Rome Odunze. His entire fate on the Bears is decided this season. And it's not going to go well if he's purely a deep threat, if his role doesn't change, if he's just the deep target guy when the play breaks down that Caleb Williams is looking for. It's not going to work out good because if he's catching 50% of his balls, you can go from 6 to 7 to 8 targets a game. Best case scenario, 9 targets a game. Wow, really? 9 targets a game for this guy? He's catching half of them. That's only 4 catches, 5 catches a game. That's not enough to get it done. The touchdown upside could be there. The spike weeks could be there. So I think there's some value in Rome Odunze for best ball. For managed leagues, no way. In your managed leagues, do not touch Rome Odunze with a stick. I mean, can you imagine? He's like, a less consistent version of Jameson Williams on a team that runs the ball arguably more than the Lions and scores less points with a quarterback that's not as good of a passer as Jared Goff even. Definitely not as good of a deep passer. It's a thin bet. I can't imagine trying to start Rome Odunze in managed leagues. He's so expensive for what you're getting for him. Give me Carnell Tate. Give me Jordan Tyson. Best ball, I can see it just because you don't have to figure out when to start him. And there's still some upside for those touchdowns. But I think they're going to be few and far in between. Touchdowns the most likely thing to regress. Okay, this is where I will take Bucky. Bucky at pick 59, I'm okay with. And on a team where I need an RB2, I'm okay with it. It's not the sexiest pick, though. And I've told week 10 bye thing going on. And I already took Emeka Egbuka, so yeah, I probably should have just taken Tate. Now that I know that Lancers wasn't going to go Bucky, I could have just taken Tate and really pushed Bucky, but I'll go Jordan Tyson here. Yep. I'll go Tyson. Just drafting every player in the NFC South. Why not? Yeah, August FFPC season, we learned that pretty quick. Good little lesson there. So what's the deal with Jordan Tyson? Jordan Tyson he has the best peak target share of any wide receiver in this class. 2 years ago in 2024, 30% target share on his team. He saw 115 targets, 75 receptions, had over 1,100 receiving yards on a 14.7 yards per reception. Had a 65% catch rate. That's pretty damn good for a deep target. His career catch rate's a little bit lower than that, but it's still good enough. The 10 receiving touchdowns in the peak, even 8 last year in those 9 games. He's averaging almost a touchdown a game in college. Jordan Tyson, let's scroll down. Let's see his comps. He goes drafted 8th overall in the NFL draft. He's currently ADP 63. Best case scenario for a guy 8th overall, ADP 63. We're looking at, Garrett Wilson comps. We're looking at Jalen Waddle comps. Egbuka comps. Devonta Smith comps. Olave comps. Addison, well, probably better than Addison at least. The downside, we're looking at guys like Drake London rookie year. Rome Odunze rookie year. Quentin Johnson. Treylon Burks. Maybe that's a little bit too far down the draft capital, but Burden's issue is a lack of red zone targets. Rome out-earned him there. Burden seems stronger on DK. This is also true. Rome has a decent target share in the red zone. Rome's target share goes up in the red zone. I'm actually pretty convinced that the Bears are going to be running the ball a hell of a lot in the red zone. And so between Swift and Monungai, I think there's a lot to go around for those guys to have a lot of touchdown upside. But I do agree. Better in best ball for Rome Odunze. The touchdown upside is going to be hard to predict, but it will be there still to some extent. He's been a pretty good touchdown earner in his career. So there is some upside there. I think it'll be interesting to see how Burden is used. I just think with the higher utilization in general, all things will come along. So we'll see Burden get used in the red zone more, as he's just the guy who is potentially the highest target earner on the team. Either him or Loveland. Yo, what's up, Rob Thomas? How we doing, brother? Over under 4K passing yards for Caleb. That's the funniest question I've ever heard. Of course it's lower. It's the curse of the Bears. You know, no one can, the Bears can throw for more than 4,000 yards. It's impossible. It just can't be. It just won't be. Lancers has Josh Allen. He's not going to take Dak. Do I want Chuba? Do I want Harvey? Do I want Downs? I don't know. Chuba's fine. I took Corum. Fuck it. Let's go Corum. Give me a player on a good team. I'm at the point where it's like, I'm reading the camp news. I'm feeling the buzz. I'm feeling good about it. Creoth was just telling me the Panthers' top 2 offensive tackles are both injured. Do I really want to bet on the Panthers? Well, I drafted T-Mac earlier. Could have made a team bet, a big stack on them and gone Hubbard there. No, I'm going Blake Corum. Let's go for gold. I'll take an expensive Blake Corum. At the same time, I'm getting a Dak Prescott. You can only have 2 of these guys. Rarely does Corum fall to the 107. He might fall to the 101, 102 in some of these drafts. Maybe earlier in Ball Mania, he's going the back end around 9. But I'll take an expensive Corum here on this team. Have some balls. There were all these yards for Bears pass catchers coming from. Yeah, where are all of these yards for pass catchers coming from? I don't even think it has to be a lot of yards. I don't think it has to be too many. I could see the running backs. Monungai's not a big pass catcher, so let's start from square one. The running backs. Let's give Swift 300 yards. Let's give Monungai less than 100. So let's go 350 total for running backs. Tight ends. Let's give Loveland 900. So now we're at 1250. Let's give all the other tight ends combined 350. That's high, but yeah, maybe 350. So now we're at 1600. If we can't go above 4,000, I think we get to 3,900. So if we're at 16 there, I think we're at. I've only got 23 more to go. I could easily split that up between Burden getting 1,000 or 1,100. Rome getting about 900. That's 2,000. There's another 600 to go between all the other receivers. I think it could work. Something like that. That's just off the dome. I'd have to look at my projections, look at what I have them for target share to give you like actual metrics on that. But I think kind of high level, pretty fun numbers off the dome. I think that makes sense. No Stafford for me. Bannon, yes. Bannon over Dobbins, yes. Lancers might take Dobbins. He might not. He also wanted tight end. I take Bannon there. Yeah, he goes Dobbins. That makes sense to me. What do I want here? I have Dak, Saquon, Bucky, Corum. Could pull up Rachaad White. Yeah, Rachaad White. Baker. Whatever. I'll take Baker there. Maybe could have pushed Baker. I'll just take him there. QB2. Lock it in. 2 QBs, rounds 8 through 10. Makes sense to me. I had Baker, and I was like, wait a second. I've got Bucky, and I've kind of changed tune on Bucky. I don't even like Bucky that much. I'm not drafting a ton of him. He's okay. Pick 59 is fine. But I also had Egbuka, who I don't take a lot of either. I took him over Higgins this time. So if I'm going to bet on Egbuka and Irving, we got to have healthy Baker Mayfield having a bounce back season. I think part of what made Baker Mayfield bad last season was being injured, and part of what made him bad last season was losing Liam Cohen. So let's go. Yeah, the Blake Corum pick. Hype. What's up, copy paste? I forget whose stream it was. Copy paste. I think it was like an ETR stream. You had a comment, and they were reluctant to say copy paste laid. They just call you copy paste. I thought I was funny. I caught that. You know whose stream that was? Who was it the other day? Maybe it wasn't ETR, because I feel like Levitan would have definitely said copy paste laid. It might have been Karain on one of his streams recently, but someone was afraid to say laid. Funny enough, I just placed a Caleb 3,500 passing yard plus bet for plus 100 today. Other books had him like 3,600 for minus 115 free value. Yeah, I would agree. The thing with the overs is they don't count if he gets hurt. So if he gets hurt, you're fucked. But if he's healthy, I could see Caleb doing 38 or 3,900. Appreciate you for being here, Adam. Adam was on with Hartman earlier today. Make sure you guys are also subscribed to Adam's channel, Nice and Blunt. Adam and I have done some drafts together this season. We've got more to come. He's a great guy, good drafter. Make sure you're subscribed over there. He's going live practically every day as well, and he puts out a ton of good content, best ball content, in-season content, so make sure you're subscribed. But most of y'all are. But if you're new here for whatever reason, if you're just tuning in, if you're here and it's training camp going on, I'm tuning back into some fantasy football streams. Hell yeah, welcome back. And make sure you're subscribed to Hartman. Make sure you're subscribed to Adam's channel. Make sure you're subscribed here. And we got you guys covered. Yo, what's up, Ruben? How we doing, brother? The FF nerd. I'm doing good, man. Hope you had a good weekend. Hope you're enjoying the start of all this training camp news. Having a good start to the week, my friend. Thanks for being here. Okay, I got to do something at running back because I just missed the running back cliff. At least I have 3 this time, but is there a running back 4 that I want, that I need? Okay, Conception goes. He would have been a nice wide receiver 5. Kincaid's okay. Shakir's okay. Hunter's fine. Omar Cooper's fine. Ferguson's good. Ferguson jumps the list because the stack. The running backs I hate. So I'm pushing running back. I'm going to take Ferguson first. Actually, yeah, it's fine. It's fine. I'm going to take Ferguson first. I know Lancer's going to take Kincaid and Shakir because he has Josh Allen. I'm kind of cool with that because at the end of the day, I wanted to pick between Travis Hunter and Omar Cooper. I'm going Travis Hunter again. Probably should work in some Omar Cooper. I did draft Travis Hunter last draft, but I just can't. Travis Hunter's so good. This is best ball. Not managed leagues. But I want to deep dive a little bit more on Omar Cooper and KC Conception. All right. College stats. Omar Cooper played 4 years at Indiana. In his senior year, he had 70 receptions on 86 targets. It was 15 games, so kind of a shit ton of games, but 21% target share, very respectable. 81% catch rate, the best in this class among all receivers, all pass catchers in their best year. He also had 13 touchdowns, almost a touchdown a game. So this guy came on strong. Omar Cooper is a guy that I'm aggressively, heavily targeting in my drafts. He's a first-round draft pick. He's super cheap. KC Conception actually had his best year a couple years ago at NC State, age 19, but he's maintained a very strong target share throughout his college career. At A&M last season, had a pretty deep yards per reception. The catch rate was pretty bad, though. What you would expect from a guy who's mostly getting deep targets, but even then, his hands aren't the best. So that's the downside on KC. He's actually complete opposite end of the spectrum compared to Omar Cooper, who actually goes later in drafts in terms of his catch rate. Let's scroll down and do some comps on these players. So we've got, here it is, Omar Cooper and KC, both first-round picks. Pick 24 for KC, pick 30 for Cooper, to the Browns and the Jets, respectively. ADP for KC is like 115, 120. Cooper's like 140, 150. What do they comp to? So KC would comp somewhere around like a Zay Flowers, maybe, for good upside, high-end outcome. Maybe Jordan Addison range, or it could be like a Ricky Pearsall. We could see Rashad Bateman rookie type season. Omar Cooper is kind of the same. Maybe a Bateman rookie season, maybe a Leggett rookie season. Mid-range, high-end upside could be Pearsall-esque, Jahan Dotson-esque rookie season comp. Downside for both is going to be Jamison Williams rookie year, but Jamison Williams is coming off an injury. Neither of these guys are injured, so I think the floor for these guys is essentially like a Rashad Bateman, maybe worst case scenario like a Treylon Burks type of outcome rookie year. So I think both KC Conception and Omar Cooper are like free squares right now in drafts. They have essentially no downside and all upside. I am due for running back. It's been a long time since I took a running back, since round 7. I've taken 2 QBs, 2 tight ends, and a receiver since then. Round 13 coming up. I have a 2-3-5-2 build. Bryce Young is still there. He's an option. Denzel Boston, Stribling, Pacheco. I might just go Bryce Young first. Go with T-Mac. If Pacheco's there, I'll consider it. How much do I like Boston? I don't think I do. Pick 39, 160. I'll do some Boston. I'll do Boston over Pacheco. There's not a lot of risk there. I already had Harold Fannin. It's kind of a fun bet on some of these younger Cleveland pieces, assuming Jerry Jeudy gets traded. The thing with Boston, his catch rate wasn't that bad. Let's go up to Boston here. Denzel Boston, he did play in college for 4 years. He didn't really get involved into his sophomore and senior years. Averaged about a touchdown a game, which is nice. Again, at Washington, he played some special teams. Held down about a 26% target share over the last 2 seasons. And 60+% catch rate, and being a generally a deep target guy. So I think he's good enough. I think there's a lot of upside there on Denzel Boston. He's cheap enough. A second-round receiver. I don't hate it. Y'all do Scott Fishbowl 16. I have not done any Scott Fishbowl. I'm not in those drafts. But I do see it going on. Looks like a lot of fun. Smash that like button and subscribe to Candyman here. Hell yeah, brother. Oh, I think I forgot to close the poll. We're closing the poll right now. Vote in the poll. Bo Nix or Stafford? Who's the better QB? Who's the better value? Was it Best Ball Breakfast? I don't think it was. I don't think it was. It was something else very recently. One of the bigger brands, bigger names, and they just said copy paste, but they wouldn't say laid. And I could tell they were holding their tongue. I thought it was pretty funny. Boston is a nice hedge on KC bags. Yeah, it didn't hurt. Copy paste. That also lets me know, and I already knew this, but because I see you everywhere, you're such a chat rat that you don't even know what chat it was in that you got pulled on stream, your comment, in the last, like, 48 hours. It was probably earlier today, honestly. It might have been something I was rewatching over the weekend that happened last week, so I give you some grace there, but chat rat of chat rats. God, we got some dogs in the chat tonight. Okay, I'm closing the poll. It's Bo Nix. You guys know ball. It's Bo Nix. Bo Nix has the higher floor. He's got a more attainable ceiling in my mind than Stafford has, where Stafford has to have like an MVP career year to attain the ceiling. The touchdown regression could be coming for him. He's in a great offense, don't forget it, but I think Bo Nix, because the rushing upside, and hopefully the ankle injury doesn't change that dramatically, but with the youth, he can recover well, all of that stuff. From me here, I do want to go Jeremy Bernard or Ted Hurst. I'll push him. I'll take Brian Robinson first, because I need some help at running back. Pick 179. This is a good spot for Brian Robinson. Bernard or Hurst both feel like good picks. I might go Otten first, based on ADP, based on finishing up my tight end spot, and my stacks. I'll push Bernard and Hurst. I got some rookie exposure with Tyson in Boston. I'll see what comes back around at running back. Another Kaytron team, some Singleton. We might have to get creative after that, because you might just have to get creative. We're still pretty thin at running back. Got some bye week issues. Yo, what's up? TD, Mr. Mufasa. How we doing, brother? Happy Monday. Hope you're doing well. Okay. New YouTube poll. Who's the better late round running back pick right now? Better late RB pick. Is it Nicholas Singleton or Mike Washington? And why? Let me know in the chat. It's like an interesting comparison. Okay, I don't want to. Let me review this team. And I have something else I've been teasing, and I forgot to get to it, which QB battles are we watching in training camp right now. You guys know most of them, but I want to see if you guys know all of them. I've read up on all of them today. 3, 4, 6, 3 through my first 16 rounds. Dak Prescott, Baker Mayfield, and Bryce Young. Feeling good, done at QB. RB, I need one more, if not two more. I got Saquon, Bucky Irving, Blake Corum, Brian Robinson. A little bit of bye week issues, but it's not terrible. I definitely need one more guy that I think gets some volume, because week 10, I'm missing Saquon and Bucky. That's kind of hurt. Bucky stacked with Baker. Wide receivers, I have CeeDee Lamb, Emeka Egbuka, and T-Mac, all three stacked up. Hell yeah, I love to see it. Anytime you have your top 3 pass catchers stacked with your top 3, with your 3 quarterbacks, you're killing it. Jordan Tyson, Travis Hunter, Denzel Boston, some rookie upside. Second year upside with Travis Hunter. Tight ends, Fannin, Ferguson, Kate Otten. So I have a double stacked Dak, triple stacked Baker, stacked up Bryce Young. Let me see if I can work in some bringbacks. Any Giants available? I mean, there's no Giants running backs, but I could throw in Darnell Mooney or that's it. I don't want Fields. I could do Tampa Bay plays the Rams. I got that covered with Corum. Let's go. And then Seattle, I could throw in Helani. I will appease the masses. I prefer Emmanuel Wilson, but I will appease the masses. I will appease the masses. You guys are the masses. I will appease you guys. If I get even 2 votes for Helani in the chat, I'll consider it. Oh, Brazil is still there. He's kind of a fun pick to go with Bryce Young. It's definitely Kaytron first, though. I'm just going to be smashing Kaytron. I've decided. I'm going to have too much Kaytron for a little bit. I guys, you have 5 seconds. Go Kaytron. I got him. It's a vote for Singleton. A vote for Mike Washington. A vote for Mike Washington. Another vote for Mike Washington. I have 7 seconds. Are we doing Helani or Singleton? Or Emmanuel Wilson or Brazil? I did Brazil. I thought about going Mooney. I'm feeling good about the rookies today. Throwing another rookie. Bang. Another stack. Bang. Bringbacks overrated. Helani's overrated. Emmanuel Wilson, I have some faith in. Darnell Mooney would have been interesting. Favorite for slot duties. Could have been a good bring back on that big Dallas bet I have going, no doubt. Kaytron really brings the room together, so I didn't need that 6 running back. Is the whole deal here. Because by week 10, we're gonna know if we've got something with Kaytron Allen. Brazil's kind of fun. Let's go look at Brazil a little bit. We've got the data. Oh no, shit. I haven't brought in Brazil's data yet. All right, we're gonna look it up right now. Don't dox me, bro. Planet Fitness? No. Player profiler. This is risky. Bringing up my Google search live on stream. You never know what you're gonna see. Chewy.com. Amazon.com. YahooFinance.com. I don't know what else. Okay, Chris Brazil. Tall, big, fast, speedy, dominating college a decent amount. 23 years old, kind of old. Tennessee, not ideal. 3rd round pick. It's okay. We can work with it. Decent breakout age. Let's go to his experience in college, and we'll let's make some room in the sheet. Let's make some room in the sheet. How many years do we have? We got 4 years of data. This year's kind of busted, but we'll add in that 4th year. Insert some rows. Oh, that shouldn't have happened. Well, we'll fix it. Scrape. It's this easy. Hartman. Bang. That shouldn't have happened. Because I have the MacBook over here. I have to use my other keyboard to copy and paste. I always forget. Bang. What is going on? Extra row. And then his best year would have been, I mean, terrible catch rate that year. Brazil was like a one-hit wonder is the only issue. I would characterize this as good target share, because even in the last 3 years, he has good enough target share. Catch rate good enough? I would say so. Good target share, catch rate good enough, I would say. So his senior year, 12 games, 9 touchdowns, pretty decent. 1,000 yards, decent depth on receptions. Target share is decent. The catch rate's honestly not that bad. What happened to Stribling? Did I not finish highlighting Stribling? I thought I did. Maybe I erased it. Maybe something weird happened. Stribling's right there. So there's Stribling. I didn't draft him, but I did draft Brazell. The thing with Brazell, if we comp him based on his draft capital going in the 3rd round, he ADP-wise goes super late. He's in this group with guys like Branch, Bell, Hurst, Williams, Fields, Lane, Douglas, Xavier Thomas. 3rd round receivers. ADP's pretty low. So NFL draft 94, ADP 197. High end would comp to like rookie year Michael Wilson or Tank Dell. Jalen McMillan. Mid-range comps, guys like David Bell. Nico Collins. But Nico Collins was not a good rookie. Low-end comps, the Bus. Luke McCaffrey. Dammy Brown. Savion Williams. Cedric Tillman. Danny Gray. So it's a risky profile, I will say. But the upside you can get out of a round 3 guy, few and far in between, but there's some payoff years. I had the stack. I'm feeling good with the rookies. I think Brazell can take the job away from Leggett, which is kind of crazy. But you don't expect a lot from a 3rd round wide receiver pick. On this team, I feel like I could afford it where I had a 1st round pick, a 2nd round. No, but yeah, Boston was a 2nd round pick. Am I crazy? Yeah, Boston was a 2nd round pick. I have a 1st round pick, a 2nd round pick, and a 3rd round pick. And it kind of just worked in with the stack, so I don't mind it. I didn't need the 6th running back after I got Kaytron. What happened? So I did not catch Vita Vea. What's the news? Someone fill me in. I read everything. I didn't read a whole lot about Vita Vea, though. I missed it. It might have been late in the day. I'm pulling it up right now. I saw Jamal Adams potentially get signed. Vita Vea, it just came out 6 hours ago. Requested a trade. Okay, that was the last piece of news I didn't see today. I thought it was an injury concern. Singleton, have you seen him squat? Yeah, buddy. Lightweight, baby. Mike Washington better click because you only need one Jinty injury and maybe coaches get weird with him. Singleton has to have Pollard and Spears be bad, washed, injured. Counterpoint to that, Mike Washington doesn't have a lot of faith from these coaches. They might bring in a veteran like Miles Sanders that just takes his job and eats his lunch. Maybe Mike Washington doesn't have a lot of lunch to eat as it is with Jinty healthy. With Singleton, he could take over the RB2 job from Tajay Spears. Would it be that hard? Maybe they trade Tony Pollard mid-season and they ride with Spears and Singleton. So I could, there's a situation where Singleton could be the RB2 on the team. We think he's already the RB3. With Mike Washington, is he the RB2? Is he the RB3? I don't know. You can play it both ways. I'm on the fence. Hartman likes Mike Washington. He's more guaranteed lead role if starter goes down. And I'm not a believer in Singleton can take over without injury and trade. Goombas likes Washington because he has less viable bodies in his way. I will say this. Knowing the Raiders are a Jinty workhorse type of team, it's one role in the backfield. Everyone else gets scraps. Knowing the Titans are a two back system with Pollard and Spears, there's actually more roles for Singleton to earn. Potentially can earn 2 roles. They trade Pollard, or Pollard gets injured, he fills in there. They move Spears, or Spears gets injured, or Singleton's better than Spears, he moves in there. There's a 0% chance that Mike Washington unseats Genty, and the backup to Genty is injury contingent, yes, but the ancillary role when Genty's healthy, how big is it really? So I think there's a lot of ways to look at it. 17 Singleton, 18 Claiborne, or Trevor Etienne, says Michael. What's up, Michael? How we doing, brother? Yeah, I'm not in on Claiborne yet. I'm waiting for more camp news to get in on Claiborne. I think he's an extremely risky profile. I call him fancy zeros. I think Claiborne is running back 4 on the Vikings. It goes Aaron Jones with some veteran deference, but probably earning on average the most touches per game. It's going to be Jordan Mason. So 1A, 1B, whichever one's which. I've made bets on both. I might start to make some more bets on Jordan Mason. I was a bigger Jordan Mason believer in the past. Aaron Jones getting up there in age, but has the pass catching upside that Jordan Mason doesn't have as much. Jordan Mason a much better pure rusher, and probably gets more rushing attempts than Aaron Jones. Just like, what are those receptions come in, right? Which brings me to running back 3 on the Vikings. Ever heard of a guy named Scott? Mr. Xavier Scott. He had a game last season with, I think he had 8 receptions in one game. He wasn't relevant that much, and he wasn't relevant very long, but Xavier Scott is the RB3 on the Vikings, ahead of Damon Claiborne. Could that change? Sure. But that's a longer path to go for me. So until I get news that it changes and Claiborne is at least beating out Xavier Scott, I'm not as interested. I buried the lead a little bit. There's 5 teams with a QB battle going on right now, and one of them is the Arizona Cardinals. So Jacoby Brissett goes undrafted in this draft. I think that's crazy. He just got a new deal with Arizona. He should be getting drafted. If you're drafting Trey McBride, if you're drafting Marvin Harrison, even Jeremiah Love, you're going to want some Jacoby Brissett. Does he start all 17 games? I don't know. Probably not. Maybe not. He was really good last year. He averaged over 19 fantasy points per game as a QB. Actually really good for fantasy. So Brissett might be undervalued. Should be getting drafted. In a competition with Gardner Minshew, I think Brissett wins. In a late season competition where the coaches might be benching him just because they're tanking and it's after the bye week, which is week 14, then maybe Beck comes in. But for free in the last 2 rounds or last round of fantasy drafts, if you can get a stacked Jacoby Brissett, I think that can be a nice piece. It's a very cheap QB, one of the cheapest QBs on the board, who's almost certainly going to play 10 plus games, I think. Maybe closer to 14 games. Or 13, I guess. So Brissett could be good when he's playing. That's QB battle number 1, Arizona. Number 2, Atlanta. Tua, Penix. Needless to say, it's the QB battle that we've all been thinking about, talking about. They both go into undrafted. I'm taking Penix mostly right now for the late season upside, and kind of what I just described is the opposite of the Brissett bet. I think Tua gets the early play, but I don't know about Tua. Maybe I'm just kind of like taking a slight pass on him. I drafted some of both. I'm a little bit more on the Penix train right now. Although Michael Penix is not fully healthy, so there could be some concern there if we don't hear good news about his injury recovery and timeline. So might start to lean back into Tua. The other battle we all know about for the Browns, QB1 spot, Shedeur Sanders, Deshaun Watson. I think Sanders wins it. I think they use him to tank over the season. They're going to go in the running potentially for Arch Manning next season. So you can draft some Shedeur on some teams where you've got some nice Cleveland pieces lined up. I mean, I even had Boston and Fandon here. If I didn't have Bryce Young, I could have thrown in Shedeur Sanders late on this one. Very viable. I'm not going to be drafting Deshaun Watson. Not convinced enough. That's battle number 3. Battle number 4, J.J. McCarthy versus Kyler Murray. We've all but decided as a fantasy drafting community that it is JJ McCarthy on the bench and Kyler Murray starting. People forget JJ McCarthy beat Caleb Williams week 1 of the NFL last year, outperformed him in every metric, but then went on to be disappointing, but wasn't so disappointing. I mean, Kyler Murray got benched last year for Jacoby Brissett. So could Kyler start the season? Yes. Could Kyler end the season? Maybe not. Maybe JJ McCarthy gets another look with some health. I mean, JJ McCarthy was also dealing with injuries, right? So does he come back into the mix? Does he play the last weeks of the season? Is he going completely undrafted and could be a guy you wish you had? Honestly, maybe. It's tough when you only have 18 rounds, but if we get some more indications that JJ McCarthy is actually competing, and I think we're really discounting him right now, but I'm keeping an ear to what's going on there. McCarthy could bounce back up the boards and realistically be a piece that's viable in fantasy. It sounds crazy, especially what we saw last season. The Vikings completely sucked. But if anyone can turn a QB around, isn't it Kevin O'Connell? So why is he only going to do that with Sam Darnold? And why is he only going to do that with Kyler Murray? Why can't he do it with McCarthy too? Beck might come in late season for Brissett. There's a risk. Okay, so we talked about the Cardinals. We talked about the Falcons, the Browns, and the Vikings. The last QB battle that we didn't talk about yet is Las Vegas. I had to scroll. I had to look. I had to jog the memory. So no one's drafting really Kirk Cousins. I've seen him get drafted a few times here and there. In fact, he got drafted in this one. That's why I couldn't find his freaking name. Bill Lancers drafted him. Kirk Cousins versus Mendoza. He had Genty. I guess that's fine. It's kind of weird. Kirk Cousins, does he start more than 0 games? Yes. Does Kirk Cousins start 5 games? To me, no. I could pull up the Raiders schedule. We could look more into it. Mendoza is the guy you want. Mendoza is going to play 11, 12, 13 games. No doubt. And I'm guaranteeing Mendoza would, when he's healthy, is playing the NFL weeks that matter, the playoff weeks for fantasy. So that is a battle. It's the same thing we dealt with Drake May and Brissett. It's the same thing we dealt with Rattler and Shuck. Except Mendoza was the 101 overall. How long is he sitting on the bench for? Not that long. Guaranteed. Candyman guarantee. Cleaner path for Mike. Could be. Yeah. Luckily, we got Kaytron again. I guess I'm going to have too much Kaytron. No cap. What's up, brother? Says, Eileen Washington. Cleaner path. Significant workload. Ceiling outcome. So what? I got to stop you there. Full stop. What's the ceiling outcome for Mike Washington? 5, 6 touches a game? Behind Genty? That doesn't seem very fantasy viable for me. I'm not really there on Mike Washington. It's a full contingency bet, I guess. If Genty gets injured, I don't think Mike Washington gets the full workload. I think they're going to split it up and do more of a committee. People forget. They've got Dylan Laube. I forget that because no one cares. They've got Roman Hemby. Could split some work with Washington. It's pretty empty right now. They might be bringing in a veteran. What if they bring in Najee Harris? What if they bring in Miles Sanders? Washed. Amir Abdulah's on Jacksonville. That's right. Sandy says Helani heads unite. Didn't get in fast enough. Could Jonathan Brooks flip Chuba? I think he could. I think he might. That's another one I'm keeping my ear closely, keeping an ear out, listening closely for what goes on in training camp there. Creoth was just telling us, though, the Panthers had 2 O-line injuries so far, so it's not looking good for what could be a pretty strong offensive line. Does Jonathan Brooks at 100 flip Chuba, who's going right pick 85? I think it's very possible. Washington, better odds of becoming a starter. You guys are surprising me that everyone's so in on Mike Washington. How could he possibly be a starter over Genty? Baffles me. If it's just the injury contingency, I mean, we can make that case for literally every single player. But I guess what you're saying is, we assume he's the RB2. He's the cheapest RB2 with a clear contingent path. I just don't know if he has any standalone value. And I'm looking for standalone value plus contingency, not just pure contingency. Pure contingency is the fastest way just to get zeros. So I guess my argument for Singleton is, what if he's better than Tajay Spears and wins Tajay Spears' role, which was standalone value already and contingent? I just haven't been convinced yet that Mike Washington is going to be the RB2. But we'll keep an ear out. We'll see. It seems obvious, but maybe we're missing a piece. Maybe they bring in Najee Harris, dust. Maybe they bring in Miles Sanders, dust. But it would just slow his role, and maybe they bring in a veteran who can actually do something. There's a few veterans out there. Unsigned. Yo, what's up, Jalapeno Jenkins? How we doing, brother? Brazil stack, not bad at all. It's okay. It's kind of I'm expecting nothing from it, which is the perfect time to take a swing like that when you really don't need that pick. I'm going rookie heavy tonight. Now that training camp started, I'll start to go a little bit rookie heavier. I've been reluctant to draft the rookies all offseason. I'm starting to listen. I'm starting to see who could fit in, earn some roles. Elijah Surratt. Interesting guys like that. Don't type in Braz. Yeah, typed in player profiler. Exactly. You never know what shows up there. Brazel running clear for Tet to eat in the slot. Oh, okay. Running clear out. Yeah. So a better version of Xavier Legette could be fun. At the same time, we know what it's like to have a Tennessee rookie wide receiver deep threat in the NFL. It's usually terrible. Can you do Xavier Thomas? I can't make heads or tails on his profile with his speed. Yeah, I took some Xavier Thomas in Dynasty. He's on my taxi squad right now. I'm not drafting any Xavier Thomas in best ball right now, just because, he's a 3rd round pick, but it's kind of a late 3rd. It's intriguing. I'm going to pull in this data at some point, but I'll keep it here for right now. His target share never got above 13.8%. That's too low. Receiving yards never got above 500. That's just too low. Target 61's not the worst, but his target share was really low overall for his best season. Catch rate's not the worst. 67%'s not that bad. Kind of a small sample size. Before that, it's in the 50s, 60s. Not a lot of touchdowns. Special teams works decent. So I think Xavier Thomas earns his bread as a special teamer. But if, he's comping to Curtis Samuel, these are not things you want to see. So I don't really see a path for him to be relevant on the Bears offense either. So I'm stashing him in Dynasty, but... Oh, Vita Vea requesting that trade. Yeah. Damn, you hate to see it. Both Singleton and Washington have outs to play when the teams have 3 wins going into fantasy playoffs. Yeah, I mean, both teams could completely suck. I think they both could surprise, though. Raiders could get a little bit better with what's his face? Clint Kubiak. Is what's his face good for the Titans? Dang, my mind is escaping me right now. Salah. Is Salah good for the Titans? You know, both have new coaches. Year 2 QB for the Titans. Apparently bad O-line. Could be a problem. Raiders. We'll see. So Xavier Scott in pre-draft. Xavier Scott. Interesting. Is it possible Tua, Penix, Shedeur, and Deshaun all pay off at ADP? I think they could because they're so cheap. It almost to me makes sense to be drafting one of like Brissett, Beck, Tua, Penix, Shedeur, McCarthy on like every team because they're so cheap and they could play multiple games. Deshaun's the only one I'm really reluctant to draft. But if I'm so reluctant to draft Deshaun, shouldn't I be drafting more Shedeur? But then again, I just don't even know if Shedeur is worth having, even if he plays half the games or more. But Shedeur did have, you know, a spike game last year. I think Shedeur had like... Didn't Shedeur have like a 20-something point game? Am I getting crazy? We always look this up, and I'm always like forgetful of how good or how bad it was. He had some rushing upside. You know, it's a 34.5 game in Week 14 against Tennessee. 364 yards, 3 passing touchdowns, and a rushing touchdown with 29 rushing yards. Shedeur Sanders had a 34.5 point fantasy game. So that's worth something. They better cut Shedeur if they can't. If they even want to dream of being bad enough for Arch Manning. They better cut Shedeur if they want to be bad enough. They might want to start Shedeur if they want to be bad enough. I'm confused. Committee with Laube? I know. As soon as I saw it, I was like, where's Abdullah? Oh, that's right. He's a Jaguar. So I think if I'm taking the opposite side of the argument and I'm arguing against Mike Washington, I have to say, hey, the RB2 is not on the team. They're going to bring in some veteran. Who are you guys, like, what veteran running backs are you keeping tabs on right now? Kareem Hunt. If the Raiders bring in Kareem Hunt, goodbye, Mike Washington. I think if Gentry goes down, Washington is going to get significant workload. It's a matter for fantasy. I have to push back. I don't think they would give a rookie with his draft capital and his lack of touches in college the workload. I think it'd be extremely unprecedented and rare that they wouldn't just go to a committee. Mike Washington, round 4 pick, 122. He's an older dude. The eligibility, highly athletic, but he had terrible draft capital, right? So if he's super athletic, but he has 0 draft capital, that means the NFL knows something we don't, that he's not actually that good. Good size speed, but the NFL didn't like him. These guys, it's their entire job to know about these players. They know way more than we do. Guaranteed. 5 years in college, 3rd team in 5 years. He's an older guy, you know, decent work, but even then he's barely averaging. What is the touch total per game? I'm gonna do quick math. 168 rushing attempts plus the 28 receptions gets us to 196 touches across 12 games. About 16 a game. It's respectable. It's respectable. It's better. It's higher than I thought it would be. Arkansas, you know, not the worst target share. Yards per carry is pretty good. A 4th round pick getting the workload, he would have to comp to, first off, Genty has to go down. Because the only guys who were 4th round picks who were decent at running back, who paid off, were guys who had access to a backfield. Bucky Irving, right? Bucky Irving was playing with Rashad White, who was underwhelming. Ramondre Stevenson. Actually, these guys both go more expensive in ADP, so I have to go even cheaper in ADP because it's not even a good comp. Even like Dameon Pierce was going much higher in ADP. These guys all had paths to RB1 and 1A situations. A guy who has no path to a 1A or a 1B is strictly going to be a backup contingent. ADP is essentially undrafted, and the draft capital is somewhat high. We're looking at Isaac Garendo, who was on the 49ers and paid off a little bit, but didn't smash or anything. And the Raiders are no 49ers. That's kind of like the high-end comp for Mike Washington, is to be like Isaac Garendo, which could be nice. I mean, in week 17, if he scores 12 points, you like that. Maybe some slight standalone value. If he's a Dylan Sampson, that's not even a good comp because Dylan Sampson's going much higher in drafts last year and was the 1B. And for a while, we thought even the starter if Quinshawn was missing time. But Sampson came in when Quinshawn did miss time, and Sampson sucked. He could comp to Jarquez Hunter. We assume Jarquez Hunter's the backup on a really good team. Never did anything. That could be Mike Washington year 1. Hassan Haskins never did anything. Trevor Etienne never did anything. Will Shipley. Will Shipley was the assumed backup to Saquon. What happened to him? Did nothing. So I'm just saying, obviously, it's a late round rookie pick. There's a lot of potential upside, but it's mostly downside. So for me, just because we assume he's the RB2, I've been there, done that. Will Shipley is just what convinced me. Oh, we thought Will Shipley was who? I mean, it had to be Will Shipley. Will Shipley was behind Saquon. It had to be Will Shipley. He was the guy you wanted. Look how good of a comp he is. Similar age, similar draft pick, even better school, Clemson. You know, still has some size and speed. In the college production, I'm pretty sure Will Shipley was better. Yeah, Will Shipley was much better in college than Mike Washington. Way more touches, way better. So if Will Shipley can do exactly nothing on the Eagles as the assumed RB2, imagine how bad it can get for Mike Washington. I mean, I'm playing devil's advocate. I'm trying to describe why I'm not drafting Mike Washington. I can see why he might be exciting, but it's not that exciting if you really think about it. He's explosive, so he can get there on 10 to 12 carries a game if that's all he gets. Literally, no one can get there on 10 to 12 carries a game. Not even the best players in fantasy can get there on 10 to 12 carries a game. If Christian McCaffrey got 10 to 12 carries a game, he would average 10 to 12 fantasy points a game. So he might hit your flex in week 17 on 10 to 12 carries a game and luck into a touchdown and score 15 points or does like a JCM and gets what was JCM, 20 points? 22 points? Where was JCM? Yeah, 22.5 points week 17. How many touches did JCM have in week 17 though? I think it was more than 10 to 12. 10 to 12 is not enough. I don't remember though. Week 17, he had 11 rushes, and 2 receptions. It was 13. So it was slightly more, but I get what it's the same point though. But he had, I mean, 5 red zone carries. It was against Dallas. Everything came together. 105 total yards, averaged like 10 yards a rush. So that's pretty hard to do. And it just happened to be week 17. So, I mean, you're not wrong about if he's explosive enough, if he can have a huge best day of his career day game. 10 to 12 is borderline. If he's averaging 10 to 12, he might have some week where he's getting, 14 or 15 and it is good enough. Brooks was going about right where he goes now, and Chuba went with 150. Yeah, and Chuba was the value that year, right? Are we back to that? I think Mike Washington is bad. The other guy's probably worse, sadly. Let's see Big Naj, RB2. Bro, Kareem Hunt, Najee Harris, Miles Sanders. Who else is a free agent right now? The list can go on. I mean, you guys let me know. Who are the better NFL free agents that we don't remember? Yeah, they're both bad. They probably both have no standalone value in this year's. Yeah, probably also true. Singleton may have a better shot at a role without injury, but that role isn't likely to matter for fantasy, in my opinion. I'd rather swing on the fence with Washington, is all I'm saying. Yeah. Yeah, I think they're both similarly risky and similarly almost certainly zeros. The Tajay injury chance is definitely higher than Genty's. I would think that's true too, and I think Pollard has higher injury risk than Genty too. Pollard has some injury history. Kriop says Singleton, I think, has enough on tape to become something. Mike Washington Jr. is just bad. What's up, Travioli? How we doing, brother? GM. Xavier Thomas gives Claiborne vibes. He went for 30 versus Tennessee. Who was that? Went for 30 against Tennessee. Who? Oh, Shador. Yeah. No, yep. Shador. Yep. Exactly. 34.5. Tons of round 18 zeros. I want to take one who can sometimes score 25 plus. That's pretty hard to find. That's nearly impossible to find. But it is slightly possible. But I would agree. That's the goal. Find some of those guys. Shador might be him. He had that one great game last season for sure. I am the KY. What's up, brother? Bring Mostert back. Yeah, Mostert exists. He's not gone 100%. What if Mostert comes back? That'd be pretty interesting. Tua has that shot of being the first round resurrected QB this season. Good amount of talent on offense. Lots of dome games. Also true. Tua was just so washed, and he has so much injury and concussion history that it makes me worried for multiple reasons. Where Penix is obviously injured and has injury history, but is less washed and is younger and might still have more upside. Penix had some good games last season, but at the same time, Tua's had a lot of good games in his career. Just not last season. You know who is even more likely to be Jarquez Hunter is Singleton. Could be. Yeah. At least they're both cheap. Singleton and Mike Washington are both pretty cheap. So at least if you're taking bets on them, you're not really losing too much. I'm sold on not clicking any more Mike Washington the rest of the offseason now. Samaje Perine, Justice Hill, and Ty Johnson it is. Yeah, I mean, those are the more realistic guys to have definitive roles. But for some reason, we're all convinced we want the risky upside 1 in 1,000 pick versus the 1 in 10, boring pick. It is true. I wonder, though, can Adam Randall push Justice Hill for the RB2 in Baltimore? That'd be pretty interesting. We could go back to drafting Adam Randall at some point this August. Kriot says for the free agents, for tight ends, mildly curious to see where Jonnu and Waller land. Yeah, that's true too, because they could really mess up some of these vibes of the guys who've been drafting on the tight end front. I think that is also interesting. Could see the Raiders signing Deebo and using him in his usual wide receiver running back hybrid role too. Yeah, I actually think the top spot in my mind for Deebo is the Raiders, potentially. So that is a good point too. All vibes, no value. What's up, brother? How we doing? The problem with most RB2s, as they're RB2s for a reason, and no team is afraid to move off of one isn't afraid to move off of one in a heartbeat. Your strategy shouldn't be centered around these players' low-frequency mix-ins at best. Yeah. If you can figure out the frequency, if you can dial in on the RB2s that matter, or if you can thread the needle and get lucky with some of the guys that are relevant in a certain year. But it's tough. In redraft, I go RB heavy, and in probably about 70-80% of my best Ball Mania drafts this year, I've got about 4 running backs through my first 7, 8, 9 rounds, sometimes 5 through 10 rounds. So I've been definitely going RB heavy. But we're getting more information from training camp. I'm starting to trickle in some more of these rookies and some guys that I have stronger convictions on and see the upside. Yeah, what's up, Jared? How we doing, brother? We just need to find this year's Nick Westbrook. Just looking for spike weeks. I mean, this year's Nick Westbrook could be Nick Westbrook. He does get drafted here. I don't see him get drafted too often. Did this team have Daniel Jones? No, just a guy who has strong conviction for Nick Westbrook for a bounce back. Let's review this team. I don't think I've reviewed my own team yet. 3-5-7-3. Where do I get my ideas from? I mean, I just can't shake this build. It's kind of my standard bread and butter structure here. Dak Prescott, Baker Mayfield, and Bryce Young. I'm going to jump to the chase. I got CeeDee Lamb, Emeka Egbuka, and T-Mac. Anytime you can stack your top 3 pass catchers with the QBs, you just simply have to do it. So that feels good. I give this QB room a B+. I don't have a lot of rushing upside. Baker's mobile, Bryce is mobile-ish, right? But I need an MVP caliber season from Dak or Mayfield to make this QB room take off like a rocket. Bryce Young, I think, is pretty cheap, so I think he's a fun upside pick. I don't think he gets benched. I don't think he loses his job. Running back room, Saquon Barkley, Bucky Irving, and I have Corum, Robinson, Kaytron Allen. I would need Kaytron Allen to come through and give some standalone value, or just Blake Corum, to help float week 10. But otherwise, this is all reliant on Saquon being Saquon, having a bounce back season, and Bucky still holding down the most of that role. If Bucky has a diminished role, if he's not hitting 16 plus touches per game, it's going to hurt a little bit. I'm liking the Corum pick more and more as standalone value and one of the highest value contingent running backs. We've heard good coach speak from training camp so far in Corum, so I'll chase him up a little bit. I want a piece of the Rams. He's also a bring back in week 17 for my Bucks bet, where I've got Bucky Irving going with Baker Mayfield and Egbuka. I also took Kaytron later on. Week 17 Corum is kind of fun. Brian Robinson, I think, does have some standalone value as a touchdown vulture, as a short yardage back for the Falcons, so I will click in every once in a while. I give the running back room a B-. I don't love it. There's some fun pieces like Saquon, value on Bucky Irving, upside with the Rams, upside with the rookie, but overall, it's a little thinner than I like. It's a big bet on Irving, but I guess this is the way I went. This is a big bet on Tampa Bay on this team. Wide receivers, I talked about CeeDee Lamb, Egbuka, and McMillan all stacked up. I also have Jordan Tyson, Travis Hunter, Denzel Boston, Chris Brazell. I feel like we did review this team. I probably already did review this team, but maybe I was reviewing it in like the 16th round or something. But I think the wide receivers are good enough. I think it's fun. The stacks are good. I'd give this a solid A. A little bit heavy on the rookies, but I think I can manage it when I've got year 2 breakout guys. I have all 3 of the best year 2 receivers. That's for sure. And then CeeDee Lamb's the anchor. A lot of rookie upside here. Kind of fun. Harold Fannin, and then I have Ferguson and Otten both stacked. So I've got double stacked Dak, Baker, and Bryce Young. Actually, triple with Baker if you include Bucky, which I do. Got bringbacks on Tampa Bay, Week 17 with Corum. And this feels pretty fun. It's a fun team. A lot of rookies. But I'm starting to take more shots on the rookies. We're getting the training camp news. Learning what's going on. Hey, Peach No Cap. Thanks for being here. As always, have a great night. We'll catch you in another one real soon, my friend. Goomba says, I think the RB that actually could change a lot somewhere is Connor over the current running back free agents. Yeah, James Conner, no doubt. Last time we saw him play healthy, he was #1 running back in the league in juke rate. He's always been good when he's healthy. He's always been good for fantasy. James Conner, I almost drafted him in the first draft tonight. I want to sprinkle him in some more. I think he's quickly a guy that could land somewhere, get traded, get cut, get signed, and we immediately start drafting him in every single draft. So at most, at this point, I would say he's drafted about 10% of the time. We're 40% of the way through Best Ball Mania. If he's drafted 100% of the time by next week, at most, he's like 55% drafted or something. So he could be a nice piece very quickly. I do want to be drafting some James Conner. Yeah, what's up, Mark Curry? How you doing, brother? If the Rams can blow teams out, Corum could get a lot of fourth quarter carries too. I like that idea. Yeah, that's a fun one to think about. They've got the best defense. Their offense is so good. They don't need Matthew Stafford to play like superhero. They can run the ball with Williams and Corum. And maybe both Williams and Corum equally are seeing double-digit touches on average every single week. Maybe Williams starts off with about 15 to 18, and maybe Corum's in kind of the 12 to 14 range. But then at some point in the season, you never know. We could see it even out. We could see a flippening. We could see Corum become a goal line specialist for them or something, which Kyron's kind of been that. So it's interesting to think about. So I like that. I want to take shots on good players on good teams. I think Blake Corum can be that. Hell yeah. All right, I'm closing the YouTube poll. Make sure you smash the like button here. And we'll close this poll out and see what you guys voted on. We did a lot of debating on Mike Washington versus Singleton. Overall, y'all said 60% Mike Washington, about 40% Nick Singleton. I think that's fair. I don't draft a lot of either one of them, so I'm trying to figure out if I should be drafting more of one of them. I took Singleton earlier tonight on a team that also had Cam Ward and Carnell Tate and Gunnar Helm, so it's like a big Titan stack. But I don't really draft a lot of either one of them. But that's going to be it for tonight. We drafted 2 Best Ball Manias on stream. We had a lot of fun discussing training camp news, these rookie picks, and talking some ball, some of the rookies, and doing some comps. Make sure you're subscribed. Thanks for being here. I'm going live tomorrow night with Hartman over at Hartman Fantasy Football. Catch me there. I'll post about it on YouTube. I'll post about it on Twitter. Have a great Monday night, everyone. Thanks for rocking with me. I'll catch y'all in another draft real soon. And peace out. See you guys.